What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 138 of the Always Race Day podcast. We're going to talk the King's Royal recap with King Donnie, the 40th. Logan Schuchart winning the Eldora Million with Shark Racing and those guys. Very eventful week in and around the sport of sprint car racing, and I'm really excited to talk about that. And then Caleb and Josh were both at the ARCA race at Iowa Speedway. There's a big building causing a lot of drama amongst people who have never been to road courses before. We're going to get into all of it. I'm super excited. Love what I do. Really fun weekend. Can't wait to tell you guys about it. But first, the Karl Auto Group. They're our partners. I didn't prepare an ad this week. It's like the only thing I didn't do amongst everything else I forgot. But Karl Auto Group, get down to them if you're looking for a car, if you're looking for a vehicle. Noah is...
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, take it away.
We had the King's Royal this week. You want to be treated like royalty, guys? You go to the Karl Auto Group. You get you a car. They make you feel special, like royalty, like King Donnie. They will get you right. They'll get you a good car, a clean car, takes you from point A to point B, and even further if you need it to. Go to the Karl Auto Group, get you a car. Great people, great cars.
Crown and spear not included.
Yes.
To clarify that. Scepter, right? Not spear.
Yeah, that's
scepter.
Something like that. Either way, yeah, the fine print says, none of those goodies are in it.
All right, let's get into this one, man. What a weekend. So I went down to Eldora last year, and I think I was at the track for 30 minutes before they postponed the prelim day to the second day. And then I watched 7 hours of prelim night, quote unquote, racing that didn't have any effect on the later race, which was for $1 million. So I was not spending a lot of time trying to soak things in. I was kind of too nervous to do that and cover a race and then drive 9 hours overnight, which sucked. And it sucked today too. But no, this weekend was a blast. Donnie Schatz wins his 40th King's Royal. Logan Schuchart wins $1 million. Well, we're going to start with Donnie. We'll get to Logan. We're going to start there because there's less stuff to talk about from the Thursday race. But Donnie Schatz leads every lap. I guess we should just start with the wreck to open the race. I'm sorry. I'm second guessing myself, and you guys are just making faces at me. Noah, why don't you talk?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just laughing because I watched Josh just change his hat for some reason.
I didn't change the hat. I just put a hat on.
I was just really confused. I thought the timing was funny. I'm sorry. I'm getting us way off track.
No, it's Indy 500 hat. I got my IndyCar hat on. IndyCar weekend at Iowa is coming. So, and we're all going to be there. Like someone messaged me and said, "Do you really need 5 reporters to cover a race?" And I'm like, "We've never all been in the same room together." And I guess we have at the Knoxville truck race. So,
no, I wasn't there.
No, Noah wasn't there. It doesn't count. So it'll be cool to like work with everyone and like see what we do together and talk about stuff and all that. And we'll get into that. But yeah, I understand we don't need 5 reporters there. I told them I get like what I'm asking is really stupid. But I think it's really cool just to see how you guys do and what everyone's good at. And I guarantee we'll have the best coverage. I mean, we got 5 times the workload everyone else does. So we'll have to figure out a way to do it. But I'm excited for that. So King's Royal kicks off. We'll talk about the race first, and we'll kind of go backwards after that. But lap 1, I don't even remember who wrecked now. 2 guys next to each other, Justin Peck and Landon Myers. So Landon Myers flips over. They're side by side. Neither of the two touched each other. They both just bicycled by themselves lap 1 out of the race.
Damn.
Basically, the track conditions Saturday night, there's a long delay for rain. And anytime you do that, it's going to screw up your track prep. There's not a ton you can do for it. From what I was being told, even if they took longer to work on the track, it just was not going to work. And whatever they did Friday night to prepare for the rain evidently didn't really show up on Saturday whatsoever. I wasn't impressed, to put it sharply and honestly. they,
Let me ask you a question
you're
then.
good.
So, like, I know Stuart was very, very adamant of like, we are going to get this thing in.
So I do want to tell you that video clip that you probably saw on Twitter was from the 2020 race, or like the first one back from the pandemic.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, that was not from that day. I don't believe.
Well, okay, so
I could be
so let
wrong,
me
but
ask you-
it's exactly the same as the one I saw 2 years ago.
right. So let me ask you though, like, would you have been in the opinion of them like moving it to, the next day or whatever, trying to do that?
Well, here's the deal. They knew we had a podcast. I told them about it. They rushed everything so that we could do it. No, it's Eldora Speedway, and I know they knew this was like, when your numbers are really good and you know that you're going to get a big crowd and there's a buzz in the air about it. They reported, and they didn't report this with an attendance number. I'm kind of puzzled by that, but also like there's a lot of general admission seats, and I don't even know what the true capacity of the place is. But they're supposed to get their largest crowd they've had in the 70-year history of the racetrack, and
That's
they got
incredible.
it. So they got it on Saturday, not for the $1 million race on Thursday. They got it on Saturday, and I thought that was impressive. And so when you're balancing that and wanting to do that, and a lot of drivers and teams were like, yeah, all our guys are tired. We're kind of dragging along. It's been hot in the afternoons, and these 4-day shows really, really get to you. I can't imagine like how hard they work. I get to sit in an air-conditioned room for half the day, and it drags on me. So I completely understand how big of a call that was. And when I say this, don't take it lightly. I've never been more worried that someone was going to get hurt in a race I was watching in my life.
It seemed so sketchy.
I
just
can't
from
remember. I
following it on
cannot remember
Twitter.
one time that I've seen that. And I tried to, because I don't want to like tweet that during the race. I want to tweet it, like my honest thoughts, but I don't want that to like take attention over like people enjoying the race.
Yeah, you don't
Right.
want to fear monger without.
Yeah, right. Like, and
to.
like, so like we were talking with people in the campground. We actually, the day we rolled in, we met this guy. My dad and I got there at when the last A main of the night was pushing off. So we watched it on my phone, went down there. I got to introduce him to a bunch of my friends. He got to meet a ton of drivers that he loves to watch. So that was like awesome and surreal to get to do at Eldora of all places. And we got back to the campground, and these guys were just standing out there, and we walk up, start drinking with them. And this dude like took us in, like showed us his RV the next day, like gave us thousands of beers. I want to say it might've been less, but I couldn't keep up with the count. But like just the racing community is freaking awesome. And so we ended up talking to people on Saturday, and just random dude that walked up. I don't remember. I could probably figure out his name if I dug deep enough in my head. I don't want to anyway, but he's like, I didn't think it was, I couldn't tell it was sketchy at all. It looked like a normal Eldora race to me. And I think he might have just had a lot of beers, because I just haven't seen cars that they would go into the corner, the right side of the car would hit against the, not against the cushion, but against the line you're trying to run, and it would whip it back to the left, and the car's like kind of shaking and jumping, and you couldn't, navigate it. Or if you missed by an inch, you're going up to the wall, and hopefully you don't wreck in the process. Like Parker Price Miller flipped, and the restart before that, he almost flipped.
God. I saw that quote from Kane that we posted where he basically was like, yeah, we were lucky to keep the car on the ground because any little mistake, you just go flying right up to the wall.
He said he couldn't, he said if he could have ran faster, like drove the car harder, and he was too scared.
Yeah, and Casey Kane,
and those people out there that are gonna rip on Casey Kane for me telling you guys that is not just his opinion. There's other drivers that shared that opinion. Casey can take it. Don't rip anyone from the quote you hear from me though, because like that, Casey Kane's scared. You know how many cars he's driven in his life? Like that, it was just bad.
Casey Kane's done like 220 in the draft,
Yeah,
or
but
not
also,
220.
like,
That's an exaggeration, but like he's
if
done
you
a lot of
haven't-
crazy shit.
yeah, if you haven't raced on dirt either, I feel like you aren't allowed to have that opinion because,
Right.
I mean, I, I think 2 out of the 3 dirt races I was in, a car flipped, and it's depending on how like the track surface is, it's super easy to you hit a rut or a bump or a bad spot, and the way that the momentum is and the way that you're carrying yourself, it's just super easy to just go over. So yeah, I mean, it's if you haven't done it, you really can't have an opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone wants to give theirs, right? Like it came up all week with the format stuff, and we'll get into that. But I guess we should kind of talk a little more about the race. I need to see where Brent Marks started. I should have looked this up on Saturday after the race, but I was trying to get everything locked and loaded. We got the press conference up. We got everything on the Always Race Day YouTube, so check that out.
And it was Saturday when Larson flipped and got T-boned too, right?
Thursday. That was Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Yes.
My fault.
You're fine.
That was also really scary.
That one was a freak accident. I think something broke in Aaron Reitzel's car. I don't know for sure. I didn't get a chance to ask him about that. But yeah, it's a weird. You never see Aaron Reitzel go around by himself. If anything, and the haters that are like, "Yeah, you do. He sucks. He sucks." If anything, you would see him go into somebody. I've never seen him really kind of single car accident himself. So that it was that just pile up,
That's one of the scarier accidents I've seen in a while in a sprint car. Just watching Larson flip and then get T-boned.
Right, and it was hard too because there was just really nowhere to go. Like it happened so quickly, and the way that he pushed up the track, however you call it, but it just there was no way that was going to be avoided.
So Brent Marks started 11th, and he did get a spot from that first corner. For reference too here, Landon Myers started 9th, and Justin Peck started. Why is this tripping me up? 19th. So like they weren't even anywhere near each other. You lost 1/12 of your field on the first lap of the race. So they moved to single file starts, and the group of people that talked to us after the race Saturday were pissed. And Donnie Schatz said this was going to happen in the press conference. And I'm showing them this video after they voiced their complaints to me. But he said, because my car owner also owns the racetrack, they're going to say like this decision and to do this and to do that. And the fuel stop is due to it being rigged or fixed or whatever. And he said, some people just do that. And he said, it's not true. I would have rather not had a fuel stop tonight. I'd have rather had double foul restarts and 40 laps. He didn't say double foul restarts, actually. He did not say that. I don't think any driver would subscribe to double foul restarts after what happened Saturday or what that race turned into. But I think like 3 guys dropped out at the halfway mark too. Gio wrecked, I believe. That might have been 3rd. I'm getting races fucking screwed up now because we had 2 majors in a row. But my clothes are done. Just washed them. Be proud of me. But no, so you get to the halfway break, and after that, it's like there's like 14 guys left on the racetrack. And you're kind of waiting. Brent Marks is trying everything he can to get up to Donnie, and he just couldn't. Donnie pulled up a car from 2 years ago, I guess, and it anchored that right rear wheel down on the ground, and it kept it on the ground more so than any competitor on the track. And he's had a lot of experience driving tough racetracks like that, and he got everything he needed to get out of that car. And it was honestly like, however way you look at it, if you think it's rigged or not, it's impressive how well he drove that car on that racing surface. And if you can't see that, then you're effing blind, to tell you the truth. I should probably not assume people are hating on different directions. I've just seen every opinion this weekend, like everyone's screaming at each other. And I'm like, what? We can just say what we think. Like doesn't even, I don't know. Dirt racing fans, drama, right?
We just had one of the biggest like dirt racing weekends like ever, and
The
everybody was
biggest
mad
one,
at each other.
the biggest one
Yeah.
yet, you know. And I said in the interview that I did with Donnie before the race that is this the peak of sprint car racing? And I do that all the time where I use that wrong because people assume that means like it's going down. I just mean like right now, this is the mountaintop. Like this is as high as it's been. But I'm a believer you can just add more mountains that go higher, you know.
There's always room for improvement. You can always find another mountaintop, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And so the one other thing I had was I was talking to Craig Kinzer like at 2 a.m., just walking the pits when we were leaving. And he was telling me about the reason you're seeing the cars shake left and right is because of how much fuel's in there. And that's throwing off the handling and it's helping that bounce. And they were literally bouncing like that. It was as sketchy gets. And go watch, if you can find the highlights, go watch them on, I believe they're on the World of Outlaws YouTube. They usually are. But the World of Outlaws and the Dirt Vision Twitter account all throughout the day did not tweet a single highlight of green flag racing. And I think that shows a lot because that is not true for any other race that they've had this year. I can almost guarantee. I don't want to. So if someone fact checks me and corrects me, I'll Venmo them $10.
$10 are on the line, people. 10 big old George Washingtons.
That's what I can. That's what I can afford on that one. But yeah, it was, and that's why you saw 3 cautions after the fuel break. But the reason they did do the fuel break, they said at the drivers' meeting, if the track's that fast, if we're running lap times that fast, we believe that mathematically you're burning too much fuel to get through the 40 laps. So we will do a fuel stop. And they just called it at 17. I would have rather called it at 20. I think the halfway mark is a better
17 is a weird number.
Yeah, and I was sitting there for 3 laps going, so are they going to call that or is someone else going to flip? I'm not joking. I was like nervous the entire race. I've never been that like, and like, I've known guys that drive race cars and I've had friends race. I've watched friends race before. And like, I can't remember a time where I was like sitting there just going, oh my God.
Like who's next,
Yeah. And it's just, it sucked like that. It's a lot. It takes a lot to take the enjoyment out of a race for me. And it didn't because no one got hurt, but that wasn't fun. The atmosphere and everything else around it made it fun, but yeah.
Literally me every super speedway race in NASCAR.
Oh, look, you made the dirt racing about NASCAR. Good job.
Don't make me you're making me a hypocrite right now is what you're doing.
It is how I feel though when we get to, especially towards the end of those, like that's I know that feeling because that's how I feel too, is like you're just waiting, you feel like you're just watching a train go by and you can see like the wheel on the rail just like wiggling, waiting to like bust apart, and it's just gonna be the disaster.
Oh, like Final Destination.
It's like those NASCAR races where the tires won't make it more than exactly 30 laps and you're like, all right, it's been 30 laps. Who's right front's gonna go turn them into
last year.
salsa?
I do think more of the safety of NASCAR, of stock cars in general.
Yeah,
just because they're harder to flip.
They're intrinsically safer. Based on their design.
You're fine. Yeah.
I know what you mean when you say like it's just an uncomfortable. Like you feel like you're waiting for somebody to get hurt. Like, and that's. You don't like that because like we know racing is a risk. We know that it's dangerous, but
you don't want it to be.
Yeah, you don't like those situations where you're just like waiting for the worst to happen.
You don't really get sobered up in racing until something happens. You know that it's possible and it's dangerous, whatever, but you enjoy it until something bad happens and you're like, wow, like why are we doing this? What's the point? Like we're going to get somebody killed. And so it's a balance, and it gets really difficult sometimes when you're reminded of how dangerous it can be. But fortunately, this weekend, everybody came out in one piece. We're okay. We move on, and hopefully we can continue to have things like that happen where everybody makes it out of the weekend and we can say, all right, cool. We'll talk about the racing. We'll talk about the atmosphere instead of talking about safety and stuff like that, like we've done in the past.
So this next point I'm really excited to talk about because I'm going to have, and I'm sad Damon's not here to see this, but we'll get to
Is
it.
this a Connor rant?
No, it won't be a Connor rant. It will be some sort of.
Please be what I think it's about.
Yeah, we'll get there. But what do you guys know about the format? What do you think about a format that incentivizes drivers, race car drivers, to qualify slower but not too slow?
Absolutely
It's
not.
disgusting.
Okay. This is bad because we're not gonna have a debate on this at all. We're just not gonna agree.
The format is disgusting, and it sickens me.
You shouldn't be rewarded for sandbagging just the right amount.
Now every guy I talked to before like Darren Pittman, Brad Sweet talked about it, Donnie Schatz talked about it, and just says he doesn't do it. You can't prove that a guy doesn't sandbagger does, and I haven't watched Donnie do it a lot. I would call Brad Sweet on a lie if he ever said that to me, because he tried to sandbag at Huset's last month. I'm not saying he's trying to, and there's no penalty for it. You're not cheating. It's the box you're putting. People mad at the fucking guys for trying to qualify like better is the weirdest thing to me.
Why on earth would you go win the pole?
So anyway, if you're at home and you don't know what the format was, typically in a big Eldora race, they will qualify all the race cars. They will spin a wheel that has a number of 0, 4, or 6. That's the typical. They've done races where they do different things and they've moved numbers around and stuff, but there's usually a couple spaces for 0 and then like 6 spaces for 4 and 6 spaces for 6. And whatever the number lands on, whatever the wheel lands on and spins on, that would be the invert for the heat races. Now, they scrapped the wheel from Thursday night on this week and said, we're not using it. We're doing an invert of 6 on Saturday. So that creates the incentive of this is exactly what they have to do. They have to sandbag. And I like that aspect of it, because I think if you put out a format for a race in sprint car racing that has a 6-figure payday, you should know every ounce and inch of what you need to do to roadmap your way into the A main. I think that's integral in how you prep a car, how you prepare it. I think the drivers deserve to know that. And I don't like your dinky little wheel. I think it looks stupid. But I hate to admit this, that dinky little wheel would have prevented a couple of guys from sandbagging on Saturday. And I suppose that would help. And maybe Brad Sweet's Ironman Cal Ripken streak would still be going, because I hate that that's the fucking shit that got it to not go. But so if you don't know the streak, he hasn't missed an A main qualifying for World of Outlaws A main since before the 2014 season when he started going full time. That was the first one. And people are just okay with it. They're like, if you don't like the format, shut up. And I'm like,
the format won't change unless you say something.
No, your format sucks. Dude, it sucks.
Why are we incentivizing not being fast?
I don't care if you've been doing it for 40 years or not. What's churn and butter? How about that? Well, that's how they made butter for 100 years. Why don't you make it like that, dipshit?
Because it sucks.
Like, we've been doing it for I get that, but it sucks. That's not an excuse to keep doing it.
I want a shirt made for Always Race Day that says churning butter sucks, and we'll call it good.
We gotta at least give a reference in there. By the way, we are working on a couple.
That stupid wheel.
We're working on a couple of deals.
Little wheel. Your
I
average
hate that
wheel.
I helped them put the numbers in the wheel and take it out there, because I think it was Susan in the media center that ran it. She almost kicked me out on Wednesday because she didn't know what a website journalist was, and she needed help putting the wheel together the day after. And I had just done this big rant with Damon about how the format,
so the wheel's your fault now.
No, hold on. I had just done this big rant with Damon about how the format at Eldora could incentivize drivers to go slower, and that I was pissed off about the possibility of that. And Saturday we just saw that, certainty. But I helped them put it together. It took every ounce of me not to just fall on top of it and be like, oh crap, I broke it. But they had the old wheel in the closet, and I had seen that. So
All reliable, ready to
yeah,
go.
so I was like, if I broke that one, they wouldn't let me break this one also.
Yeah.
The plan wouldn't have worked.
You would have had to, you would have had to have a second person for that plan.
They left it untouched in front of the media center on Wednesday night. No security around it.
Oh no, not
So
the
just if you're a wheel hitter out there, I'm not telling you what to do.
You putting a bounty on the Eldora wheel?
I should. That would be hilarious.
I'm sure Eldora
Another
Speedway would love
$10
that.
Venmo.
Can you imagine someone that really wants like $200 from me over Venmo that just creates this
That's gotta
mastermind
be
plan?
like that's gotta be a criminal charge, right? Like conspiracy.
I didn't tell them to do anything. I didn't say to do anything, Noah. Don't be getting me in trouble here.
It's just if someone's crazy enough out there,
I'm
it's an
gonna-
idea.
We met plenty of people this weekend that would be crazy enough to do just that.
I'm gonna get us back on track, pun intended.
Go for it.
Why on earth? Like, what's the point of qualifying if we're going to not incentivize being the fastest guy?
I agree.
Yeah,
And this is
let's
what Matt.
talk to
This is
Hawkeye
what
Down
Matt.
staff about heat races.
Get a
Right.
fucking bingo ball and call it a day.
This is what Matt Weaver told me.
Start picking numbers.
This is what Matt Weaver told me about the pros of that format. If you want to call it that, you don't have to. I'm not telling you whether to like it or not. You can disagree with me. A lot of people do. They do the love it or leave it bullshit that just kind of like we don't improve anything if we just say, well, if you don't like it, shut up. Talk about it and maybe find something that more people compromise on or more people like. I don't know, just me. But like Jack Hodenshield somehow got into the sixth heat race the way it shook out in his final Kings Royal. A guy that's driven and won that race and done so well. And he wins that heat race and starts on the pole of the Kings Royal. Like, that's cool. Like, that atmosphere and like that moment, like that's sweet. And Landon Myers, he was racing ATVs before sprint cars. He's been in the sprint car for like 4 years in not that many big races against not that much competition. And he's never looked like a slapdick. I promise. He's usually gotten the car back in one piece. I don't blame him for wrecking at all. But it was cool to see him be able to make it when in the other thing was like Shark Racing got their million this week. They, we missed the race, it stinks and it's the format, but yeah, Brad's streak bummed me out way more when I found out that stat. But yeah, I don't know. There's different things to say about it. And I was happy Parker Price Miller got to start in the front row. Like, awesome dude. Happy for him. Wish everything would have gone better. I think that's, hold on. I'm just trying to keep on track with everything.
Yeah, I think you got like 2 bullet points left.
Yeah, Schuhart winning the million on Thursday. They had one caution on lap one car spun out. And the track was just too fast. Logan was too good. He drove away from everybody. The jack stand falling on the front stretch during the halftime break. I do really want to talk about that because they're having these guys do a timed pit stop not on television, but on the stream live. They're going to do a timed pit stop where you got to do all these things in like this kind of short amount of time where everyone is hustling and scrambling through the deal. And they're on like banking going into the corner. And the dirt there is like softer than other racetrack dirt. So I was not surprised a jack fell. I figured another one might or two. And I know they do that at every other racetrack anyways when they have an open red. I just thought like explain it when it happens on the broadcast more was my thing, but overall no harm, no foul to anybody. They had a fast racetrack and Logan drove away with the deal, and I'm happy that they could do it. The Shark Racing story really is, you could do a 30 for 30 on it from ESPN right now. Like the only thing they haven't won is the Knoxville National. Well, Bobby Allen won the Knoxville National, so if you want to count that. But since they've been shark racing in this team with Logan and Jacob, it's Knoxville and the World of Outlaws Championship that Logan was so close to a few years ago. So I'm excited to see what this does for them. It's going to help them out a little bit. They got a lot of money to invest, honestly, like find ways to go faster. And I hope they do. It's going to be interesting to see where they go. Do you think I almost feel like late models they run so many races that like Jonathan Davenport has won a decent amount of them, but it might be like 2 or 3 less than he did last year. And like that doesn't necessarily say that he's regressing in talent because he still won a big one.
I mean, I don't think you can use the data that we have. Like, you can't just use this to say like, oh, he's regressing, because
No, that's what I'm not trying to bring that I'm not trying to argue that.
Right.
I'm trying to say I think we'll see Shark Racing take another step, because every year, every offseason, almost after Logan got second, they've kind of taken a little bit of a step back, but Jacob Allen took a giant leap forward. And I know he hasn't got to win this year. That's all right. It's a talented damn series. But I think we might see him take another step forward, and that should be scary for everyone else. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it. They really great people that work there. Bill Klingbeil is the best PR guy in the world. Love the dude. He did a really nice thing this week for me. I think he's too humble that if I told the whole story, but great guy. Really appreciate him. Only other thing I had was, what did you guys think of Gio saying that every time I come to Eldora, I sit down when I pee?
I saw that. Very. I don't have a better word other than interesting to describe.
Yeah, that's about
I
my
guess.
word.
Like,
He said he had to sack up. That's what got him on the podium on Friday.
I mean, it makes sense, especially with what we're talking, with the track conditions and everything. You always have those guys that, you've got some that will say I was too scared to, go further, which is understandable. But then you've got those other guys that are willing to kind of do whatever is necessary. And that kind of was this case.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was texting Damon back in the group chat and I fucked up the message, but the only other thing I haven't touched on that I did want to talk about was Donnie was looking ahead to Wednesday at BAPS in his press conference. He was like, I want to get to Wednesday and see if this car still works there.
I mean,
I don't know.
if the car's good.
I don't know if it will. That, such a unique racetrack. I don't know if that car will really work there. It might. I mean,
Only way to know is to get out there and find out, really.
I thought it was interesting that he was looking ahead to a midweek race kind of next week as he's, celebrating. But he's won it before. This one didn't tie Steve Kinzer for the most. There's reason to look ahead. I wasn't trying to imply that he was not grateful or gracious. If you watch the video the Outlaws put out, it's 10 minutes, but it's pretty cool. Just seeing him go through the motions of everything in the post-race celebration and stuff. So I was happy he could get one done. I do have, when I did the pre-race interview with him, Donnie acted like he was super pissed off that I waited till right before Hot Laps to talk to him. And basically was starting to sternly talk to me, and then was just kidding. And I don't think you see Donnie Schatz joke around a ton on camera. So I like to share those stories when he does, especially now, because he's gotten I don't want to say jollier either, but he's gotten more jubilant later in his career than maybe he used to be 5-10 years ago. So it's cool. It's cool when you can see him when he truly is one of the greatest sprint car drivers of all time. Don't make me pick. Don't make me pick between those two. Everyone knows who I'm talking about, but And Steve Kinzer would tell me that it's Donnie Schatz. So Donnie would probably say it's Steve. I've never asked him that question. Next time I see him, that'll be the first one out of my mouth for you guys. So, Caleb, you talked to the Malcolm in the Middle guy. I'm just kidding. How's Frankie Diaz? It's cool. Was there any other? What was the? I want to hear before we get to the big building. I want to hear what was the attendance. And as you said, for the underrated racing series, that is specifically a development series, and you shouldn't judge their numbers like you would a major sports league. You should judge them like you would a single A baseball team, because that's what they are. But what was the attendance numbers, and were you guys the only people in the media center?
No, so it was actually a bit better than it was last year. Last year it was just us and one other person, and this year they had a couple photographers. They had, I think, 2 other media, like specific media people besides just us. So there's a good handful of us in the media center, a lot better than what it was last year.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So when I talked to Charlie, the PR guy for ARCA, he was excited about their attendance. He really likes coming to Iowa. Their partnership with Menards, he says their pre-sale tickets that they have through Menards always do super, super well. So he was happy with the numbers, which is also very good. I feel like in years past they haven't closed the stands down as much as what they did. They pretty much
it was like one section, right?
Yeah,
that middle portion.
They pretty much had one section on each side of the Newton Club, which I think is very fair. Why spend all that stuff? And so
for a track that like at this time 2 years ago had 2 employees that were loosely affiliated.
Right. Yeah. So it just but yeah, like we went up, we took the tram up. I was a little disappointed in some aspects of the infield stuff. We had to take the tram up to grab, food and water.
Because it
yeah. I
guess IndyCar might have been catering the test. IndyCar they catered a ton of food to the test sessions. And then I told one of their PR guys, like, I'm not that hungry. Take the last burger. It's fine. There's like 5 of us that are still here. And he goes, no, I'll just get like 8 more.
8.
Oh my Lord.
There was more than 5 people there now that I'm thinking about it. But they were like, yeah, get another load of them down here. Come on. I think they had them, honestly.
Yeah.
They were there, so.
I get it too, because of like last year there was only 2 media people and not there's not a ton of people in the infield and stuff like that, but I could understand not having concessions down there, but like the cooler in the media center didn't even have water in it, so that was kind of disappointing, just from like hey, if we could at least get the basics of stuff. But it is what it is. We survived. But when we took the tram up to the driver's autograph session, there was a very healthy amount of people in line. I mean, there's people that did get turned away because they kind of ran out of time. But that was good to see. Overall, ARCA really, really cares about that track, and
ARCA cares about everything, man. I've never been to an ARCA race where the people I talked to that work with the series weren't the hardest working freaking people that they could possibly be. It could be the most boring race ever, and they're all passionate. That, like Charlie Crawl, like, oh my God, it's the perfect job for him because he wants to still be a dad and stuff like that. Like, right. they care so much, and it's a minor league series. Don't watch ARCA. Like, you're going to watch ARCA and expect chaos. That's fine. It's a minor league series. Shit, man. Yeah. Like, it's just people hold them to a standard, it seems, and I just think it's unfair. I'll let you talk. I got to stop.
I agree. And there's times where it's like you guys could be more if you were so, but I always have a soft spot for ARCA.
And they got the Twitter account thing figured out.
Yeah, I know.
For some reason, that was like the the white whale of ARCA was, can they get their series account to tweet live updates of the race?
Right.
And I just
Yeah.
talked about how hard they work. There was a password fiasco, if I understood it correctly, but they figured it.
Yeah, that was a large part of it. Yep. So yeah, but for ARCA, it's huge because ARCA is the series that has ran there the most. And when they went and they said, "Hey, we want to build a track," there's a lot that goes to that. And they basically said, "We want to spend billions of dollars to build a track out in the middle of nowhere." Obviously, the first questions from everybody is going to be, who?
Is there going to be
And-
internet there?
Yeah.
I've covered 2 sprint car majors this year with really bad internet if you're not right next to the Wi-Fi box in the infield.
It's some of those tracks, it's painful. But ARCA was the first one to commit and say, if you build it, we will come. And they have been there ever since.
They came.
They cooked
Yeah.
a 6-star meal with Iowa Speedway.
I'm so immature.
Even if, through the pandemic, even when NASCAR has abandoned that track, ARCA is still there and it's working for them. And that's the part I like.
They inflation busted that thing.
Yeah, but they even highlighted, because we get to sit in the driver's meeting, obviously, and they even talked about how going back to what he said, this is a pinnacle track on the schedule for the fact of the history and how much they're willing to invest in to keep running here. And obviously for the longest time when, like you said, everyone abandoned it, even when IndyCar took a year off or whatever, they were we will continue to come here no matter how much it's shelling, no matter the stands. It's a big deal for ARCA.
Do you guys think if we banded together and figured out a good enough idea that we could come up with a name to call that race and make it the ARCA Crown Jewel?
That might be a little tough, but
we could just give it a different name and then act like it's the biggest race of the year.
something like
ARCA
that.
Menards
We should do double points. We could do double points for it.
Boom.
ARCA cars going 400 miles. That's what I want to see.
Actually, I do want to see that.
That's an endurance race,
but
man.
the back half of the field might have trouble making it. Dude, those cars, again, it's a tough spot that ARCA's in.
Let it pay out $1 million.
It is hard to build stars.
They can barely make 5 figures.
Yeah, it's hard enough to build stars promotion-wise. This nothing to do with how much money you make from running the tour, but from race results running the tour. But it's hard enough promotionally to do it, and on top of it, you have that money thing that teams can win at Daytona and still lose money and not make money. And that, you got to get that fixed somehow. And at some point, it's not a one-step thing to do. And then on top of it, you have the reputation that you have right now that there's no talent in the series. And Luke Fenhaus stole a win from 2 really talented drivers in Jesse Love and William Sawalich. Did I say that right?
No, he didn't steal it from Love.
I'm not saying he beat
did not
those 2.
steal
I'm
it from
saying
Love.
those 2 are the 2 most talented guys in the series to me.
So William, obviously, it was another learning lesson for him. We kind of saw deja vu from what happened at Nashville, where
And
the
real
same
quick,
thing
hand
happened.
up. I have not watched I watched 7 seconds of the restart before my phone stopped loading while I was walking away from the media center from the video you tweeted. So my bad, but go ahead. Yeah, explain.
So it was a thing. So fun fact. So you haven't seen the restart, is what you're telling me.
The first 7 seconds of it. I saw the one car go really high off the jump.
So all night long, basically, the outside line on the restarts was the place to be. And every single restart, Fenhaus could basically go in there side to side, could kind of get an advantage, but then just couldn't keep the momentum up and the outside would take off. And on the final restart, Fenhaus basically drove it in deep, got it to stick, Solwich probably had to let off a little bit because Fenhouse got clear, but barely, and slid up. There's no contact made, like end of the race restart. Like it was perfect. And, he held on and won it. And it was funny because we listened to him talk to his family after in victory lane. And, he had 4 or 5 restarts where he did the same thing. He just tried to hold it on the inside, but could not do it. And he was telling his family in victory lane afterwards that before the final restart, he radioed to his spotter and he said, I'm going to have clean air coming off of 2. Where do I need to put my car going into 3? And the spotter didn't comprehend and was like trying to basically tell him, well, William's going to be in front of you trying to, and Luke kept saying, I'm going to have clean air coming out of 2. Where do I need to be? And finally the spotter understood and he made it happen. And
that's an interesting dynamic. How are you listening to that?
We were standing 3 feet away.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah,
you could have mentioned that part.
It was in victory lane, and they were just chatting. We were standing right behind them.
Oh, it was like a debrief thing. I see what you're saying. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah,
I always, he wasn't going to tell us that in the interview, but I thought that was a cool thing, and he did it clean. He didn't go and wreck him for it. There was no contact made. Like,
I don't care if you do. It's a crown jewel ARCA race.
Oh boy, no.
We're starting it already.
My best idea.
But yeah, it was
I'm
super cool. William was obviously very upset. He literally led every single lap until that point. It was one of those things. And what's ironic is in the Slinger Nationals on Tuesday, Luke Fenhouse lost that race because of a late race caution, and then he went to Iowa Speedway and got one because of a late race caution. So William was very upset. Jesse Love ended up finishing 3rd, which was kind of a win for him.
He ran 6th place the entire race.
It was bad. There was times where he could get up to 3rd or 4th, but then there was other times he was 6th, 7th.
You think they messed the setup or what?
Yeah, they were struggling for rear grip so bad, and they were so loose. When they would come in for the brakes, we watched everybody else pretty much, add some tape, or they'd make a wedge adjustment. On one of the brakes, they put Jesse's car up on jack stands and were actually underneath of it, trying to just throw everything at that they could. And they got him up to 3rd. I mean, at the end of the day, like Jesse said, that's what's going to win you championships. Obviously, they got some things that they need to work on, but it was pretty cool. He actually had said, obviously, he's been very good at multiple tracks this year, but he actually said that there were some rule changes in the off season that Venturini has struggled with, and it's particularly the ones where there's a blend of aerodynamics versus the actual maneuverability. And so tracks like Phoenix and Iowa that are kind of that inbred between a speedway and a short track, they've struggled.
Okay, now I finally got what you were saying.
Everybody hears the word inbred and goes, what?
No, it took no. I was confused before that. That actually helped me.
Okay.
That actually helped me because I
That's yeah.
What's the word you said after aerodynamics? What was the other thing?
Maneuverability.
Maneuverability.
I said, yeah, but that's kind of the same thing, like a little bit.
Now,
I do what you're saying now, it's the hybrid tracks that are in the middle where you kind of have to set the car up a little.
Your 1 mile intermediates.
Yeah, it's a little different than an actual intermediate, and it's a little different than a short track.
And they're fun.
Matt Weaver's gonna love this. Matt Weaver's gonna love this when I send it to him.
Oh Jesus! But especially at Iowa, because Iowa is a short track, but what?
Right after that.
I know that Weaver's just gonna love it, but it is technically a short track. But you add in the fact that ARCA is not as much horsepower and stuff, so it's a bigger track for them. Obviously they race at large tracks, but so it's a little bit bigger on that sense, but with the banking, I mean, it races like a speedway, like an intermediate. So it's hard because you're using a lot of brake. You're still racing it almost like a short track, but it's fast. Frankie actually made a good comment. It wasn't in the interview. It was on the tram actually, but he said it is the
Tram
sketchiest.
road. You tram road with Frankie Muniz.
We did.
I asked him if Josh sat on the other side of Frankie. For the record,
Yeah,
I
he
did
made
ask the question.
he made a Malcolm in the Middle joke, but
No, I didn't get to make it.
I
because
was
you didn't
confused.
answer it.
no, because I knew exactly where you were going with it.
God, I bet he's so tired of that by now.
Oh God, absolutely. So, but no, we rode on the tram with all the drivers, but Frankie actually said it's the sketchiest track he's raced at, and not in like a bad way, but just from the standpoint of you are going so fast while also like,
Cornering.
it's in the corners while braking, next to the walls, like it's you're going so fast compared to like, the size of the track that you're on. So that was pretty cool. But the interview that we had with him, it was a fantastic interview. If you haven't listened to it yet, I really think you need to.
So he's struggling. Can you explain the sponsorship thing to people?
Yeah, so I mean, just like everybody else. So Tony Breidinger missed Mid-Ohio because she didn't have a sponsor lined up. So it's the same deal where they didn't have a sponsor lined up for Iowa, and they're missing a couple other ones later this year too. But it was basically, do we go run this without a sponsor? And they made the decision essentially 2 days before the race that they were going to go do it. And in talking to him, it sounds like it was basically the team saying, hey, we're second in the points. We're going to foot the bill to go do this. And I think, that's huge that the team goes and does that. But it makes sense too, because, they're trying to get the second place points payout at the end of the year and, do that.
What makes you think they're not going to get the first?
Well, it's quite of
No. Make him do this. Noah, you think that Tony Breidinger is going to beat Jesse Love in the championship?
No, we're talking about Frankie.
Oh, Jesus. I'm fucking backwards. Okay, you think Frankie Muniz is going to beat Jesse Love in the championship?
All I'm saying is the season's not over.
To give you perspective, it's about 54 points.
Yeah. Well,
what's a position on the track?
Frankie Muniz is cooking 5-star meals every week in the 30 car. And you know what? You never know. Like Jesse Love could blow like 3 engines and then all of a sudden Frankie's in it. You never know.
I mean,
that's why you
possible.
race.
But anywho,
I'm sorry that I confused that for Tony Breidinger. I don't know what I was thinking. I just turned on Husitz and Brand O'Banion is like, I thought he was on fire for a second. It's just the 4-wheeler behind him has a big yellow flashing light. So that distracted me a little bit. Go ahead, Caleb. Sorry.
But I was going to ask him, and I ended up not needing to because he actually talked about it before I could ask him. But a lot of people had said like, oh, well, your net worth is $30 million. Why don't you just, foot the bill for the race and go do it? And he said, people have asked why I don't do that. And he said, this is my job now. And he said, you don't have to pay to go to work. That's not what I'm, here to do either. He wants to make his way up the ladder, and he wants to do it without being a pay driver. And so, that's why he basically said, like, if they were going to miss this race, they were going to miss the race. And, it's his job. But he also made some good points too on, what are we laughing at?
Nothing.
No, this you guys gotta stop doing this. You guys gotta stop.
Podcast stuff.
As soon as this episode is done recording, I will tell you what we were laughing at.
Okay.
But he mentioned too, it was kind of a struggle the past week because other drivers are preparing to hit the track, and he was basically making phone calls and trying to get sponsorship and doing that. So he wasn't preparing as much as some of the others. So it was a fantastic interview. He was super open, super nice. Had a whale of a save during the race as well. So I was impressed.
And I do want to kind of correct myself on the Frankie Muniz thing, because I thought you were talking about Breidinger. I want nothing more than for Frankie Muniz to win an ARCA title. I think that'd be awesome. It'd be great for the series. It'd be great for him. I think it'd be cool. What I want rarely comes true.
Thank God for that.
No.
I detailed every inch of Bobby Pierce's car before the race at off road a couple weeks ago on that Sunday after Huset's, and I just wanted him to not die, and he won the race. And that was the biggest win I've had in 20 years.
I would like to just point out that both me and Bobby Pierce have stood in Dubuque victory lane.
Me and Donnie Schatz.
Well, okay, but actually as like a race winner there, fam.
Oh,
I'll have you know.
So
You are all over the place
I
tonight.
don't even know why I'm not picking up on. I think it's just been because I've covered races for 4 days and I've been so excited to talk about it that I don't have the 4 hours that I want to talk about everything that happened through the week, and I'm getting in my own head about what I'm thinking.
I'll have you know.
I don't know why I thought Caleb. When did you win there? Well, what kind of race was it?
I thought, wasn't that it, or was it Davenport? And I'm just.
What was the track like?
Definitely won in Dubuque.
No, yeah, Davenport is like more of a typical dirt track. It looks more like a fairgrounds.
Dubuque, but I'm saying, didn't Bobby Pierce just win at Dubuque?
Yes, he did.
Thank you. All right, that's what I'm saying.
I wasn't confused about anything except for that you won the race there. That was the only thing that tripped me up. I thought you were saying like you walked through victory lane.
No, me and him have both won races there.
I want to clarify, I did not win a race there in real life. I don't know what video game has Dubuque on it, but if anyone finds it, let me know. I'll go win a race there.
Did we cover the technical parts? Because there is something I want to make a comment about with
the technical parts are the big building in the infield that covers 6.9% of the racing surface and is pissing off people beyond belief because they can't see. You can't see the other side of the racetrack sometimes at Huset's or Eldora. Well, not Huset's. They don't have haulers in the infield. But like Eldora for the Dream, like if you're on top of the media center for a late model race at Eldora with all the haulers in there, you can't see the cars.
Yeah, but that's on top of the media center.
I know, but anyone in the infield can't see the entire track.
I know, but when you can see the entire track and then they put something, it's big, Connor. It's once you see it, it's big.
It's 6.9% of the surface. I saw the pictures.
I
don't know if they're even in the top row, but I've been to race. You can't see the entire racetrack at a lot of places from different vantage points.
It's actually insane because we pulled up and we're like, that wasn't there last year.
Yeah, they were building it when I was there for the test session. Someone on the Facebook comments, the group I was in, was pissed and moaning that no media people covered it. Well, I covered it. I told you guys it was being built. I didn't know it would be that big. They hadn't built it that big yet.
Whatever gets people to the track.
And here's the deal. Here's the deal. This track almost went to the wayside and became a Lost Speedway.
It almost got to be a Walmart parking lot, guys.
Yeah,
so let me counteract you on that. So
yeah, you're good.
We almost lost the track, correct? So our fix to that is the one big race we have there. We've doubled the race tickets and we're eliminating most of the seats where you can see the entire track. That sounds to me like a good way to fucking kill the track.
Now, let me put it in a phrase that we can market to people. That we almost lost the track, but we're going to do everything that we can to keep it alive. And if that is putting rich people in a big building in the infield and taking their money, then maybe it is.
But then who are we doing this for?
The drivers, the track, the series, TV cameras. I don't know. Who do you want me to talk to?
Racing's not a profitable business.
There's 5 of us. Everyone's gonna think we're gonna have to figure it out somehow.
My favorite quote.
I'm gonna have 2 of you guys just covering that building. I want everything going. I want the dirt on that building. I will
start networking. I am broke. Put me in, coach.
That's what we're doing. We're putting Damon solely in charge.
Oh,
of
no.
that.
Damon's my guy. He's getting my dirt racing comparisons and feeding them to me, and we're going to figure out how to compare IndyCar drivers to
I
World
will
Outlaws drivers.
3D print an entire copy of this fucking building by the end of it if you put me in there.
Noah will, I believe Noah will
I'll
do
get
that.
the schematics. I will
update.
network every single one of those people will be on my Twitter by the end of it.
Noah's like, actually, if you buy a really big jackhammer, we can build a basement.
yes. And if you guys all give me $200 right now in cash, I will help you.
We'll do a Titan sub thing where you're looking out a window, but it's just a camera.
Yeah, just
Can I
don't
make,
hold it
can I
under
make fun of
pressure.
that? Can I make fun of that? Like
Probably
part
not.
of
But
it?
we've already done it.
It's unattached from what happened to it.
It's unattached in.
Bro, the entire rest of the world has made jokes about it.
I know. That was probably half my joke there too, because like everyone was doing the same. It's a building in the middle, and it sucks that you can't see. They're also going very fast. I just want to let everyone know, like, you're gonna lose sight of Pato O'Ward, and you're gonna see him in the next second.
Unless.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Stop.
Unless Jackie's in the infield and she goes, "Wait, why did Pato not? Why is his number not on the top of the leaderboard anymore?"
Unless Josh is sitting in turn 1 or wherever you guys were.
Dude, security booted us from turn 1.
Don't
really?
drive a Chevy Cruise to
Yeah.
Iowa Speedway just in case.
Well, we were doing that. Connor, you know the deal. You're supposed to be behind the fire line, and we
Yeah.
were, right up on the pit wall, and it took till
We're
lap
testing our
60,
luck.
and then they came through, and they were like, "Hey,
Lap 70.
yeah. Lap 60." But yeah,
Yeah, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
Well,
like
yeah.
It's fine. You move. It's
Which
whatever.
I was like, whatever.
They're just doing their
But-
job.
I haven't told this story on here yet, ever, I don't think. But when NASCAR had the Truck Series at Knoxville, we stand behind, like, there's like one fence and then another like black fence that just separates the actual. There's stuff in the middle, but like there's another fence in front of you in the corner, and drivers and pit crews and everyone goes over in that corner on both sides of the racetrack to watch. And so for when the Truck Series came in, I usually watch in the Wheeling stand in the middle of the infield with my guy Mike up there. He's the guy on the microphone telling all the teams to return their damn transponders.
Mike has the mic.
Yeah, Mike has the mic. It's awesome. He's great.
That concludes the mic check.
Right? Okay. That's just bad. Okay. We'll talk about this afterwards in our content meeting that we had to move off air. But so, yeah, I couldn't stand the Wheeling stand because he wasn't up there to get the ladder down. So I had no way of getting up there unless I just like scaled the side of this tower, and I'm not going to do that, obviously. And this NASCAR official comes up and like pulls on my shirt. And here's the deal. If you want me to go somewhere and I'm not like in like a sprint car pit area where I'm like expecting someone to run into me and I'm like, yeah, push me out of the way if you need to. Like, that's my fault. You go do what you need to do. But if I'm just standing somewhere with no one around me and you pull my shirt, it's a good way to piss me off. Pretty simple way to piss me off, really. No reason to do that. Pulls on my shirt. He's like, "Hey, dude, buddy, can't be out here. You can't be out here. It's dangerous. You don't got a vest on." And I look at him and I'm like, "Oh, I stand out here every week for Knoxville. Like, I cover races here every week. It's run of the mill. This is where we stand." And he gave me some smart ass comment, and I was like, "Okay, well, you open the door there." And I think he said, "Well, this isn't sprint cars. This isn't just weekly sprint cars." And I said, "Yeah, it's 4 seconds slower and a lot less dangerous." And that pissed him the fuck off. And I was like, "I'm already going, buddy. Like, chill your will there. I didn't say anything too bad to you."
I will never understand elitism in racing.
No,
in
it
my
is.
life.
It's very funny. I was talking to another Eldora Speedway employee, which I only know his first name, but he'll remain unnamed anyway. And this is how I measure the Eldora Speedway employees. 70% or 7 out of 10 people that you meet are going to be the nicest people that you've met before. Like anyone you meet from Iowa, that one's probably 90-10, I would say, actually. But anyway, like employees at a racetrack, security guards, you call them yellow shirts, you make jokes about them because just about 70% of them are the nicest people ever. And they want you to get to where you need to go and they know how to help you get there. Well, 30% are just absolute cunts. Fuck
There's
ass.
no in between.
No, I will say every bad word that I can. I got in a debate with a guy that I walk out to Victory Lane on Friday and he's like, you can't be out here, not a photographer. And I go, first off, there's no cars moving. Number two, I'm just taking a picture of the guy celebrating in Victory Lane. It's not a big deal if I don't get it. It's not a big deal if I do. But you're having a debate with me right now, dude, old guy, like could croak over tomorrow, right? With the way his attitude is, I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't be surprised. And he goes, yeah, phones, that does not count as a camera. So to my discretion, you're not a photographer and you're not here. And I'm like, okay, you're being a real smartass about it. Like I don't know, people are just fucking idiots. It's like you go into a conversation wanting to be combative and it just like, you end up sounding like an idiot anyways. And then you're also making like really stupid points that have nothing to do with, I'm just taking a picture of Carson Macedo standing on a sprint car going woo.
Can't be here.
What?
Can't be here.
Okay. Yeah, oh, well, he had more words than that. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure. But
we need to talk about Christian Lundgaard's best friend. Oh, Josh is back in the nick of time. He didn't hear any of that.
Josh, talk to me about Christian Lundgaard.
And his best friend.
Oh, did we jump on IndyCar?
There's sexual tension in the damn air with that guy.
You jumped to IndyCar before I could tell my Iowa story.
Well, you left.
I know,
went to
because
fucking Mars,
Connor
dude.
went
What
on
do
a
you want me to
spiel.
do?
I thought Connor was going to do Connor things and go on for 10 minutes.
No.
so.
I already did that with the rant. We need to go back and recover those so that I can just replay that and like we don't have to do it again. Because like
Connor soundboard.
my aggressiveness towards the invert, and I was telling people that at the track this week, like I don't hate it as much because I'm here. Like it's hard for me to complain more now that I'm at the racetrack that I'm watching. But when I'm sitting at home, like that invert sucks, or that format sucks. Go ahead, Josh.
So I want to cover, because Caleb and I were dying about this. We have to cover a very hidden personality in the ARCA field in Connor Jones.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
He
Caleb
is-
didn't tell me anything about this. He just said, ask Josh and I about Connor Jones. So I'm
Connor
very
Jones
excited.
he's very like, I watched him do the introductions. He was very like professional and everything, like super, but like behind the scenes, this kid is bouncing off the walls 24/7.
Me
Like
for
it is fucking hilarious. Literally, we're on the tram and he's eating his Raisin Canes on
As
the
he
tram.
should.
Finishes it, puts it down. The tram's going slow. He goes, I can walk faster than this. He jumps off the tram and starts walking next to it. Casually is walking next to it. He's jumps back on as we're going like 30 miles per hour, and he's hanging off the side of the tram, just screaming.
He's
And then
driving a
after-
Venturini car?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet
After
they
the-
love that.
After the autograph session,
You're not gonna love it after
gets
we
a-
fucking show him this. Like, sorry, Connor.
he gets back on the tram.
Josh is
And
doxing
he's just
you.
like, he has a Sharpie and he's just looking to throw it into the bucket of something. Like he's just trying to figure it out. And then if we run out of like cars or garbage cans that he's looking for, and some fans go walking by, hey, think fast! And he throws the Sharpie at them.
They
How
did
old is
catch
he?
it.
They did
He is-
catch it. He's
17.
17 years old.
Oh,
Oh,
hell
he'll
yeah.
get an Adderall prescription in a couple years.
This, like,
You
I'm
put
not
him-
trying to make fun of that. If anyone like doesn't like that, sorry to you guys, but like, I take Adderall. I feel like I can make. Is that how that works? Like, can I make that joke?
we get off the tram when we get down there, and then there's Braden Lester who's got his pizza hat on. He runs
His
up behind
driver
him.
intro was so fun. I just love how that kid has fun with everything he does, and he's kind of driving shit boxes, and you can't really tell if he's talented or not, but at least he's getting some practice and doing what he can with it. Like, if you're gonna do it, have fun, right?
If
It's
you're running
great.
15th, you got to do something to stand out. You know what I mean?
You gotta celebrate
Get
your top
sponsor
15.
engagement. Yeah.
But So essentially, he runs behind him, jumps up, rips the pizza hat off, puts it on his head, runs up behind LeVar Scott, jumps on LeVar Scott to try to put the hat on him. Like, it's just, this kid had zero, like, chill whatsoever. Like, he was bouncing everywhere.
It was
He's a closeted
funny.
character.
Josh sounds like he has a man crush on him.
I'm a
it was-
Connor
no.
Jones believer now.
That's right.
We were wheezing. This dude's like side of the head shaved, full blown mullet, like everything going
He's got the
on.
Brian Brown cut.
Like, it's
dude,
just-
it was hilarious, but it was just so funny. Like we were watching him, and you compare like him to William Swalowich, who's actually a little bit younger and like complete opposite.
Stone cold.
personality.
Stone
Like,
cold, not talking to anyone. Just
And
duality of
not
man
to
right
say this as a negative thing, but William Sawalich, like how he comes off in like promotional stuff, is like that's like a purple polo shirt. That's just what his personality is like. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It's just there's nothing bad about the purple polo.
Dude, purple polos are dependable.
Yeah,
You gotta wear a
it's
purple
just you're
polo.
not gonna get sweat stains. It's gonna be a run of the mill day.
I don't have
But
a
that's the
purple
thing
polo,
is-
but I want one now.
Right. It's Wednesday, December 12th. There's not a lot of racing going on.
he's been through the JGR PR train, and he's been through that, and it was so funny. So, we normally do our thing down there, and we interview drivers and whatever. And if the PR person's around, like, I'm uncomfortable.
Oh, I was watching the end of the Houston's race. Dusty Zomer.
Um,
Yeah, we got to
but
the end of the
normally,
Houston's race on the podcast on Sunday for once. Dusty Zomer wins it. A couple of scary-ish accidents. Decent race. Tyler Drucke, big. That's a big P2. I'm not sure if he's ever won at Houston's. I could be completely wrong on that. But good for Drucke and good for Dusty. It's been a while since I've seen him win a race, so good for him. And Chase Randall got third. Chase Randall's move on Garrett Williamson to win the 360 race at Knoxville on Saturday was very reminiscent of Finn House's. Just about the exact same type of deal. Garrett Williamson, instead of lifting, drove into the cushion. And I'm not sure if the slider was like way too close or what, but whatever. Chase ended up winning. He's contending and looking like the favorite to win the 360 title. So impressive stuff from him, and can't wait to see what he does in his career. But do we have anything else on Connor Jones?
He has
No,
a
the
new
only thing I
fan
was gonna
now,
say-
and it's me.
Josh,
So-
when's the first day, Josh?
shut up.
I just know Josh gets embarrassed if I even like imply stuff like that.
Look,
Anything,
what,
I swear, you're all good. I do want to did you watch IndyCar today? You had to watch IndyCar, right? There's
Yep.
sexual tension in the air between
oh,
Christian
I'm
Lundgaard and his
glad
best.
that like it wasn't just me and Josh that
This is
noticed it.
the lead story of the IndyCar race, which was
Yeah,
also
wow.
again very entertaining.
I saw several
They're
tweets
killing it
about it.
all year. They're killing it.
I saw several tweets about it, and I was
IndyCar
glad
banger.
because I wasn't the only one that felt that way.
What was funny is one of the guys, and Caleb went on the Gay Racing podcast. I should have given him a shout out that day. It was a great interview. Caleb didn't really give me a lot of props or a shout out at all. Honestly, he made me kind of something
wow.
thick. Yeah. Now that
There was
Caleb's back next to his computer, he cannot hear what I
I
said.
could.
Did you hear what I said?
Oh yeah. No, they
I'm
cut
just-
it all. I talked
I'm
about
just
you for
going with
about
I know.
42 minutes, and they cut it all out.
Yeah. Oh, they cut it?
Yeah, I went on like a 42-minute rant talking bad about you, and they cut
Oh,
it all
you're
out.
you're screwing with me. This is
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
I fell for that
definitely
too.
should.
See, that's where my mind's at right now. I'm worn out from Eldora.
I have talked to Caleb enough times that I did not believe that for a second.
Nope.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, oh, common Caleb gaslighting moment right
but
here.
yeah, so one of them mentioned it in a tweet, and like there's like 7 comments going, so what, and like complaining about it. And I thought, we don't need to do that. Like like
That wasn't
it's a
the point.
harmless thing to say.
Yeah, that wasn't the point. The point was the fact that we saw and we pointed it out. Like literally, they just made such a big deal. Like, when have they ever made a big deal about somebody's friend and
His best mate, Victor.
like his
As
best
Yeah,
mate?
They didn't even say
Nearly
they call
moved
each
to
other
tears.
best mates more than
Dude,
anything.
he looked like he was bawling.
Yeah.
Oh, he
was.
was.
But
He
you know what?
was.
I saw another tweet too.
As he should, though.
Let's
I'd
say
cry
they
for
really
you
are
guys.
friends. Like, let's say they really are like just friends and whatever. Like, if your best friend isn't gonna cry when you win your first IndyCar, victory, like, that you need a better best friend. Like, that's huge. And
I'm not
good-
saying
good
I'm not.
stuff, no matter
Yeah,
what.
I'm not saying I'm best friends with Ayrton Jonathan. I'm very good friends with him. I have a best friend. If I have to power rank, like, Ayrton's not coming in first, but he won at Knoxville and I was tearing up.
What if you're his best friend, though?
I mean, listen.
Imagine what he
No, I'm
listens to.
saying I have like 70 best friends that are loosely affiliated. I just see them at the racetrack. Like,
And I've had a lot of like mixed feelings watching races over the years. Watching Fenhouse take the lead, my arms I just shot up in chills. Like, it was a cool thing.
I can't wait to get Caleb to more dirt races because his knowledge when he's at a race is second to none. I'm not buttering you up on the podcast for any reason or anything like that.
I do like to be buttery.
That's enough.
I've
Cut that.
mentioned butter too many times on. But okay, so Christian Lundgaard gets the win for Ray Hall Letterman.
Let's go.
Again, broke a 3-year winless streak for those guys. And going into the Ray Hall
IV car.
IV car weekend, that's big time, man. And if you don't like Christian Lundgaard, you don't know Jack.
But his name's
Harvey?
Christian.
Harvey?
Yeah. They did the whole marketing campaign around him last year, and it turned out.
I know.
There were like a million billion Hy-Vee, Jack Harvey 164s everywhere I went.
Every shirt I passed in the pits.
Dude.
Everyone that was not working at the racetrack had a shirt that said, "You don't know Jack."
Race fans are the most brand loyal people out there. And if you're ever
No,
like,
no, time out. Stop. Yes, they are. Go to a dirt race. You'll see that you're completely correct. 100%. Those shirts were given out by Hy-Vee absolutely to their employees. And it is good.
Yes.
And I like seeing it. And I'm not making fun of Jack Harvey's talent. He's proven his talent in the fucking Indianapolis 500. He's a damn good race car driver. The program is not where it needs to be. They had a car miss the Indy 500. Like, that should be very, very well noted when we bring up that we're making fun of the marketing campaign of every fucking shirt in the infield said, "You don't know Jack," as if this guy is Dale Earnhardt.
Dude, that weekend he pretty much was.
Wait, at Iowa Speedway? Oh, because of how they marketed it. Yeah.
Dude, it was like going to Talladega if it was like 2004 and it's just red Dale Jr. shirts and hats everywhere. Like, I was like, Jack Harvey has this many fans? Like, this is the first IndyCar race I'd ever been to. And I was like, holy crap.
If you go into
showing out.
If you go into a Hy-Vee around here right now,
you can go to it in South Dakota. I was at one in South Dakota, and it looked like the one in Des Moines. Caitlin Clark cut out a bunch of IndyCar stuff, a lot of IndyCar stuff.
Yeah,
South Dakota's beautiful too.
All their employees are wearing the shirts, and I mean, it's.
Did you say South Dakota's beautiful too?
Yeah, well, listen, man. I went to South Dakota one time and it was beautiful.
I just feel like you can find a spot in every state that's like Houston's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But it's just weird to.
I should be on Adderall. Let's keep that in mind.
Where's your Sharpie at? Let's find a bucket. Josh, so like Lundgaard winning huge anyways. He probably only won the race because Alex Palou had the front wing almost come apart in the vinyl together.
No.
Wait, okay.
That 45 car was the stout of the field, and it wasn't even close.
But he got passed on the last stint, right?
The 45?
Yeah, he got passed by Alex Palou with, I think, 31 to go. 15.
No, he pitted. Palou got up there on strategy.
Okay. No, so I missed that. I was helping my dad with directions. My dad reads off so he's driving the RV, and it's not sketchy, but like everything has broke on it. Every hour something breaks. The awning fucking broke from the rain, and we were too dumb to put it back and retract it on Friday night. So I'll hand up. That's on me because I knew the rain was coming. But I'm helping him because he's watching like street signs and stuff, and he goes, like, is 74 that way? Is it west and east? And I'm like, dude, I don't know the cardinal directions of where I'm at. Like, I look at my phone and I'm like, it looks like we take the road in the middle that curves to the left. So I'm like, get in that lane. And it's a lot easier to do in a Malibu than it is in an RV. So I missed a couple of seconds of it, and I thought Polo passed him on green flag, so he must have. No, he did. No, he did. No, he did. Definitely did.
Listen. So what happened was there was a caution with lap 45. Polo, Polo, Kirkwood, Herta all pitted, and then immediately after on the restart, Castro Neves got turned around. So then all the front guys pitted, and which is shuffled, and except for McLaughlin, Dixon, and VK. So they shuffled to the front. And then, of course, Herta, Kirkwood, and Polo all stayed out. So they shuffled to the front, too. So then first through eighth, besides McLaughlin and Dixon, shifted back. So Lundgaard restarted eighth, and drove past everyone.
Gotcha. Were you surprised the wing didn't come apart?
Yes.
That was exciting. I gotta admit, I was waiting for Alex Palou to end up upside down. And
I'm gonna be that guy, and I was praying. I was praying on that wing to suck under, but
and to give us some excitement in the championship, and it should show that how impressive that is. Like it's been since Sebastian Bourdais somehow won 4 road course races in a row, and then like
it's 2006. So
like
slack.
4 or 5 years later, like refused to race ovals, and I shouldn't harp on him for it because Dan Weldon died doing that, and it sucks. But I always thought, like, man, you're a talented guy. I want you to go for the championship, and I'm 10 years old and fucking pissed off that this dude didn't want to race ovals because they're too dangerous. And I don't know. That was the last time someone won 4 IndyCar races in a row, and Max Verstappen has led every lap for 7. And Red Bull is making more upgrades to their car. Did you see the debate I got in on Twitter with my friends? I won't mention. I don't want people to blast them and yell at them if they agree with me or yell.
They can just go to Twitter and figure it out.
They can yell at me and all they want. I wouldn't put Max Verstappen higher than 10 on my list of best drivers in the world right now. I put Shane Van Gisbergen higher than Max Verstappen, just because he's proven what he can do out of the car. Max Verstappen this weekend did an iRace and got pissed off and fucking wrecked the guy.
Wasn't running first.
Well, when a NASCAR guy does that, I kind of shake it off because it's a video game. But like when Max Verstappen does it and you're not allowed to run anything else and you're running an official iRacing race and you go, oh, I'm just going to wreck this guy because he's a dick. Which is how he races Lewis Hamilton and how Lewis Hamilton races him. Which is really funny that they have no respect for each other and no maturity to know that if you try to wreck a guy in an open wheel car, you're going to wreck yourself. And like that's like what keeps me from any F1 driver. Not that y'all know I hate F1, but like that stuff, like that, those actions, like how they drive like that and how they have no respect when they do that and they don't have any like IQ in their brain to keep themselves out of the stuff. Like, and they don't have the Ross Chastain horseshoe stuck up their ass to get the luck to wreck someone and not wreck yourself in the process.
Intent wrecking in open wheel racing is probably the most dangerous thing you could possibly do too.
It is. It's really stupid. If your wheels collide, you're going to go upside down. And let me tell you, there was a lot of, when they were developing the safety things. Okay, so IndyCar has a windshield and a whole, structure around your head. F1's like, we're going to put a couple bars there, and also we're going to put a fucking stick in the middle of your vision window, middle of your windshield, just a stick.
How do you guys think they came up with
But
the idea to do things like this?
Because IndyCar has the patent for the aero screen, and F1 couldn't get it. And you talk about technological advancements, and that F1 blows IndyCar out of the water. They drive with a fucking stick in the middle of their windshield. Isn't that stupid? That's not stupid to anyone else, just me. It's been stupid.
I'm not educated enough to comment on that.
You don't have to be. Just look at the car. You're
Theoretically-
driving to work. You're driving to work. Do you want like a 1-inch bar in the middle of your windshield? Or do you want no 1-inch bar in the middle of your windshield?
I don't know, man.
All right.
I like spicing it up sometimes.
I'm preaching to the choir on stuff like this. Josh, did you have anything else to take away from the race today? Oh, big win for Club Ray Hall. Graham Ray Hall had the best plus minus of anyone in the field today. Caleb, what are your thoughts?
Newgarden still passed more cars.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, it's starting position to finishing.
I understand. Newgarden passed more cars.
Are you in that stat? Are you saying IndyCar got it wrong? They gave the big trophy to the wrong guy?
No, I'm saying Newgarden passed more cars.
Ray
Hall
saying under
moved up.
green flag.
Yeah, Ray Hall moved up the most spots.
Yeah.
Newgarden passed the most cars.
I wasn't claiming about passing. I was claiming it's a plus minus.
Yeah, you don't want my comments on it, so
No, I didn't. We can do it. No, we can do it, but you have to have fun with it. Every time I throw a punch back to you after you right side hook me in the middle of the afternoon for no reason, then you just get all defensive. Like, this is a stupid argument. Why are you getting mad at me?
Why are we
I'm not
fighting?
getting mad at you, but I would like to throw some punches.
because half the time you go way off the rails on it. Like today when we started to get into
I
it,
said the
you
word
brought up-
whilst. I said the word whilst in a text to you. And so I just
but
whilsted your
then
ass.
you tried to break the argument, and because here's how it went. You said
Well, we were talking about work shit on the side too, and that didn't help because I was like, I want to be a dick to him really badly for like
you
half
said
a second.
something. You said something. I counteracted it because I basically said like what you said wasn't accurate, and then you tried to basically say, "Yeah, well, my guy, his team won, so like, gotcha." And I was like, "Well, if that's a stretch, but it is super easy to pass the most cars when 8 of them just leave the track."
Oh, believe me, I have friends that drive race cars. I've seen them, and I'm like, yeah, you passed 8 cars, man. That sounds good.
Strategize better. I don't know.
It's super easy to pass the most cars when 8 of them just get out of your way.
He had a bad starting position today on a street race, and he finished in the top 10. Good. That's his second best or first best weekend of the year.
Every finish in IndyCar this year is earned. It's the most competitive field they maybe have ever had. He earned a top 10 regardless.
And also, the only I'm a Graham Ray Hall fan because I sat with him at a media lunch thing they did, and two media members came, and I talked to him about Ohio State football for 45 minutes, and I just think he's a great guy. And every interview he's good. Like, that's why I root for him. You know, he'll get that. Am I freezing or is Caleb?
No, Caleb's freezing.
Good. Oh, I can't tell. Caleb's just laughing at me. Unbelievable. When Graham Ray Hall is on the podcast, I'm gonna be way more mean about what you say about him than I was with Damon and Logan Schuchart. Damon's got to be eating his words on. He was like, Jacob Allen's carrying that team. They're the best. He never actually said like as hyperbolic of statements as I say he did. I just screw with him because there was just one week where he's like, I think Jacob's better right now. Like, when's Logan gonna win another race? Come on. That's all. He was just saying he wants to see Logan win. But no.
I have one more takeaway for you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
The Grosjean experiment.
Oh man, I don't know how your hands come off a steering wheel once in a race, let alone twice. But I guess that was the case.
When your hands are pieced back together by doctors.
No, don't do that. No. His hands are fine. He can grip stuff.
Yes.
I shook his hand.
Oh.
Fine hands. Fine hands.
Fine hands.
I would say handshake 7.2 handshake.
Okay.
on Roman, and he's a nice he is a nice guy. He's a good.
He's a great
engineer.
personality.
He knows exactly
Yes, I
why
said the
he's
hand
here,
thing
where he's
very
at.
tongue in cheek.
We do need to do a better job of figuring out when one of us sounds like a dick and if we're joking or not.
Because
But go ahead, Josh.
as a team, what do you do? Because you've seen blimps of success, but there's a lot of dick stepping on the other hand.
You do the thing that you do with all your drivers that do that, and you just give them till the end of the year, and then you evaluate. Okay, where are we?
My problem is you could very much argue the fact that Di Francesco should leave the team before Grosjean, but that's not going to be the case most likely. So, from a team standpoint, is he shipping in enough money?
I heard Di Francesco's looking at the 18th.
So
HMD Motorsports that Malukas drives.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a racer. That was a racer.com Marshall Pruitt thing.
See,
real quick, Josh. If you guys are like any interest in IndyCar at all, and you're not reading every Marshall Pruitt story, that guy prints more scoops than anyone in the fucking world. It's nuts. I was telling one of the guys at the World of Outlaws that like he is bar none the best of anyone in motorsports, and he loves vintage cars. He's like a super nerd and super nice about it. Like getting to talk to him at Iowa Speedway, he's a great guy. But he's impressive with that stuff. I just wanted to give him that shout out. But sorry, Josh. Josh is eating. That's on me. No, that's bad podcasting on me. I wasn't looking.
It's bad podcasting for me eating.
I didn't see the cornerback coming.
Don't talk all at once.
I look like a guy that works number 12 at Iowa State. No one tweet that. Someone's going to tweet that and get me in trouble.
Nice. I saw a big silly season deal about the potentials and stuff, and right now, like everyone but like 6 drivers' seats are up in the air. So like, who really knows? I do think Lucas probably will move, which obviously gives that potential for that happening. But see, I don't know. Like this Grosjean experiment, I'm all for it, but it's not panning out, and essentially it comes down to, is he bringing in more money than what you're having to shell out with him?
I disagree.
He drives, dude. DHL sponsored that car for 1 million fucking years. Who cares how much money?
Yeah. So Ryan Hunter-Reay did this, not necessarily wrecking as much. This is all, by the way, not necessarily wrecking as much. Ryan Hunter-Reay has done it. Alexander Rossi did it with the bad luck horseshoe, that the opposite of what Ross Chastain has up there. Danica Patrick drove for him for a while. Like they've had drivers that just fill seats and don't do anything. I think you'd give him another year. And I say that as a guy that doesn't think everyone has really that talented of drivers. And I appreciate what Roman has done in trying to learn how to be good here. And he's been very close. And sometimes when you're very close, if something breaks the opposite way on a 50-50 chance, then you win the race and you're talked about differently. So my message to him at this point in the year is win one race. Go win one race and prove that, and then celebrate the fuck out of that, man.
He could have won a couple races at this point in the year, and if he had done that, everybody would be like,
and that's why you shouldn't
give, a contender.
And that's why you shouldn't give up on him. I think you need to look into what the hell happened today with the steering wheel. I've never heard of that. They have gloves that are supposed to grip the wheel, right?
Yeah, but that there is that manhole in that turn that if you hit
he was wrecking before he even hit that. They covered that on the broadcast. And I know my Peacock my Peacock phone stream was so far behind everybody else on Twitter.
Yep.
Who had the fastest stream? I don't even know.
I mean,
is it like people on laptops, or it can't be that much different?
Streaming pretty typically, from my experience, regardless what you stream on, it's always going to be a little behind. Whether it's
no. Hold on. But the race wasn't on TV; it was exclusively on Peacock. Which IndyCar's luck that NASCAR rains out in their races exclusively on the streaming platform that doesn't get as many viewers as anybody casually thinks that streaming platforms get. Because of how they're talked about, the numbers are actually very small. and I'm not. This is not. It's semi-related to what's going on in dirt racing, but the numbers on the Peacock, like the ratings, are not going to be good. Even without, I don't think that many people went and bought a subscription platform to watch one race and the rest of the season. But I do think Peacock's a good deal. You get a ton of series with it, and it's very affordable. And I think that's the way it should be, like $8, $9, $10 a month, not $39, not, and I guess that's Flow and Dirt Vision now, but just me on how you get people into the sport and stuff like that. And there's revenue models and different shit. I've now lost the train of thought that I was actually on, going on the tangent of that. Connor Jones, cool guy. Relate to him a lot.
You guys do share something very important in common.
What's that?
What?
You guys have the same name.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, that's very important. We're the same. It's just the third grader that thinks it's so cool that two guys.
You just said I relate to him a lot.
Oh yeah. The ADHD thing was what I was pointing at. But no, I think you keep Rome on for another year, and you see what happens.
Agree.
You give him that grace period, because you should give people that grace period. It's a hard thing to learn.
I hate
Kyle Larson has been out watching IndyCar races and trying to learn how to race IndyCar without doing it. And you prepare a month for the Indy 500. Like, it's a hard damn series. Go Noah.
I was just saying that I agree 100% that I hate when people rush prospects in any racing series ever. Like, if you don't give, like, okay, you play in a garden. I'm going to use an analogy here. You play in a garden. If you don't water it, you don't take care of it, it's not gonna be a garden. It's gonna die, and you're gonna go, well, that sucked, and you're gonna move on to trying to plant something different. And so, like, if you give it time, reap the benefits of giving it time. And then, if it's still not working out, then I just hate seeing people give up on prospects so soon. And I'm saying this as a traumatized Reed Sorensen fan, but.
That is fair. I liked Reed when he won that. He won a rain delayed race, right?
In which
At
series?
Pocono?
No.
Cup series.
Nope. Reed never won a cup race.
He never won one cup race?
No,
You're shitting. You are shitting me. No,
I'm not. Reed Sorensen has 0 cup wins.
Don't argue this, Connor.
I know that Reed, man.
You're that Orville Wright.
He's that guy in this category.
He's that guy.
He won a handful of Busch races.
What I watch him win? What rain delayed race did I watch him win that I'm thinking of?
Oh God.
Fucking Noah. Shouldn't you know this?
I know. Now I'm gonna fact check it. I think of all the million times he won a Gateway. I think it was like twice, but.
Or that Road America win.
Dude.
Yeah, Road America was also the other one I think of. I'm here.
I am so interested to see how fast Noah does this. This is bad podcasting, but I just want to see him do it.
So, okay. God, I want to see his career statistics. Good Lord. Racing Reference is bugging. So yeah, he's got 346 cup starts, no wins. Just 5 top 5s, 15 top 10s.
I want the Xfinity /Busch /Nationwide.
Yes. So he has 4 career wins, 2 in 05, 1 in 07, 1 in 2011. So
it's the 2011 one.
So 2011 was his
Road America.
No,
there's a lot of controversy behind it. There was a lot of controversy.
But it has to be was that a rain delayed win?
It wasn't rain delayed. It was weird.
Okay.
So there was
I'm gonna have to do a fucking hour-long deep dive on this race just to see.
Yes, he led 1 lap. Just to put it in perspective, there was a crash at the end. I think it was something with Allgaier, his teammate. People were running out of fuel. It was just kind of a weird set of circumstances at the end. But Reed Sorensen beat Ron Fellows and Jacques Villeneuve on a road course.
That definitely was it. 100%.
No, that race went to overtime, Connor. 57 laps. It was a 50-lap race. That race went to OT. It was. I
believe now that I watched him win that one, and I watched it was a rain delayed race.
It was, I believe it was
Potentially-
affected by weather, though. I will give you that.
Potentially a bad strategy call if that's what I'm confused with, but maybe I am remembering.
But yeah, he
I
won a
don't know at
Gateway in
this point.
2007. He won it Nashville and Gateway, I believe, in 05. I was a big fan of Reed as a kid because I liked the Target car a lot, and so
Yeah, and dude,
Yeah.
like that's how I got into IndyCar was just seeing Dan Weldon and Dario Franchitti in Sports Illustrated. I like
Target
I was like,
and tire paint schemes.
yeah, I was like, those cars look cool, and I'm the kid sitting there with the NASCAR commercials with like the dinosaur animations coming out of the top of the cars, and they're going like upside down and doing
Yeah.
loops, and I'm like, I wish that existed. What the fuck? And IndyCar's the closest thing. It was great. Last
Yeah, there's a Reed Sorensen deep dive on the podcast.
This is awesome. No, this has been a great show. I hope you guys have been entertained by all of our ADHDness that I influence on everyone. But last thing, and then we'll let people go. Have you guys seen the independent monster truck show I'm going to on Tuesday at Knoxville?
I have not.
They
I
put out
briefly saw some
they
ads.
put out an ad, and it is advertising inflation busting prices.
Wow.
Not busting. It was inflation buster prices.
Inflation buster.
The inflation.
I hear you.
And I like my boyfriend's coming to it with me, and he hasn't been to a race with me that I've covered, and I'm not like covering it. I'm gonna go sit in the stands and like drink beer and have fun. But I was like, I was calling him at Houston's on Saturday, and I'm like, I have to warn you, like this is like, it's gonna be really redneck. And he goes, isn't like the dirt races you go to like that? And I said, the top wing with the mounts and how you put the top wing on top of a sprint car costs $3,000 by the time you get down to one of them. Every team has 4 of them in their haulers, 3 of them in their haulers. It is not a redneck sport. These people are there's engineers.
There are no inflation buster prices on these.
There is
wins.
not, no, like the dirt racing we cover. I promise you guys, because I won't go to a modified show that pays less than $1,000 to win to cover it. That like, I haven't been to a modified show that's a modified only race. If there's a race paying less than $100 or less than $1,000 that we don't have a sponsor aligned with it, I don't think that you're paying your racers enough, frankly. Why are you out? You know, it costs a lot of money to race cars and to try and make that money. And if you're paying less than $1,000, and I've put out graphics, and we're going to start doing them again where we have the schedule in every series we're covering on that Saturday. But I've put out graphics that say like, we're covering 17 races today. You guys got to tune into all of these, or you should tune into one of them, and you're going to see a good show, because we cover series that put on good shows. And someone will comment, why aren't you covering the $600 modified race in West Keokuk, Iowa? And I'm like,
Is that a real place?
no.
Okay.
I specifically don't want to shit on anybody. And I like,
Fair enough.
I get it. You're excited to go to the race. I completely understand that. And that's completely fine. I don't take any offense to that. It's just,
Everybody should always be excited about their local short track.
we got time and we got stuff to do. And I look like a damn idiot with this microphone deal I dealt with all week. And I had a literal the mic I was using the first 2 days at Eldora that I'm learning how to use and troubleshooting at the biggest race ever, which was a gamble. And I said that. It literally died. It does not work. It's been replaced. Bill Klingbeil, credit to him, gave me a microphone in 15 minutes because I just mentioned it to him that I was struggling with that, because he said, how's my day going? I said, my mic broke, sucks. Gave me one, said, return it to me Saturday, came back to me, and he's like, you're hustling, you're doing this, and he said, keep it. So big shout out to Bill. I know he doesn't need recognition. He doesn't want it. He's excited for Logan this week, but it's a tough sport to make money in. And if you're not paying your racers, like, it's hard to support you. And it's harder, like that's the conversation for ARCA, right? We should probably do a different podcast on this because I could go 45 minutes on how they need to fix that and figure out how to fix that, and how USAC needs to figure out how to pay their non-wing guys more. Like that is a big deal. If there was a USAC $1 million race, that team would never lose another USAC race again. Never, whatever team won it. So I just like, and I get you're excited, be excited for the race, but that's the only reason it's not on the schedule and when shit like that happens. So, but to get back to this Redneck Monster Jam show, we're going to, and I'm only using that word because the main truck being advertised is like Redneck Revenge. I'm very excited to see what the hell this is going to be about, because I've been to the Iowa State Fair shows when I was like a little kid, and I could tell the trucks were like slower, but I couldn't tell how much slower. And I'm excited to see the dynamic of. I went to Monster Jam for the 25th year in a row at Wells Fargo Arena this year, and I'm excited to see how much slower they are at Knoxville on Tuesday with this independent monster truck thing. So there's my rant for you, Josh. I knew we'd get to one I've never done before. Josh, you have to turn the microphone on now and react to what I told you.
I mean, I don't know what else to say to that.
All right, okay. Oh, that's fine. Do you guys have anything else? Are we good?
Mike Marlar's celebration in Victory Lane was dope as hell.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. He just pounded it. And, our guys, we're on Charlie McKenna's race car. Charlie and Mike Marlar are good friends. Mike helped them out a lot. Charlie moved to a Longhorn chassis for a little bit. And Mike's a fantastic dude. And Charlie ran his old Longhorn chassis car for a little bit, running late models and what they do. And it's super complicated sport. But I was excited to see Mike win. He came from the B main, past my guy Bobby Pierce with 2 to go, and hate it for Bobby, but excited for Mike. So watch, I'll get a text from Bobby in 2 days, like, you douchebag.
I just had to end it on that because I just remembered that in my brain. I was like, that was pure gold.
It was great. Did you see the video they put out after with the highlight? It was like a TikTok where they synced it up with a song. That's the best video of the year. So, like, the flow team at Eldora did such a good job. And Dirt Vision doesn't do a bad job whatsoever, right? Like, the whole dynamic right now in dirt racing is who can produce the better documentary, it seems. And I don't think you need to go to war over documentaries, but, like, I got to give a shout out to the Flow guys for what they do. And the Dirt Vision broadcasts were equally as good. Blake, working with them and being able to work with both, like, was awesome. I just truly believe, like, the talent should be up there and covering it. I wish Matt Dillner was helping out the Dirt Vision guys Friday and Saturday, and I get he has Bowman Gray obligations, but it just fantastic week altogether. And Flo was fantastic with what they did at Eldora and everything they put together, and the World of Outlaws did their deal on Saturday with Donnie and everything. And cool sport that we get to cover. The photo of me with my dad on the King's Royal chair, that we were 5 minutes late to get the actual fucking backdrop of Victory Lane because they took the banner down right before we got there. And then the kid that took it was like 12 and didn't know how to focus a phone camera. So it's like a little blurry in it. But I'll remember that, like, that moment for a while. My dad was trying to take a picture of just me, and I said, fuck you, you're going to get on this. Just wait for them to stop pulling this thing up. I did not get the, like, 1,000-foot banner that said King's Royal on it, by the way. Everyone,
1,000-foot banner.
my boyfriend and celebrated and texted me about it. So that's all I got for on the air stuff. I'm excited to see what Josh and Noah were laughing at in the middle of the podcast that they don't want to talk about, but I don't know. It must be something good, I guess. Thank you guys for listening. I'm incredibly lucky to get to do what I do, and this weekend was like a big reflection of that, and I love that, and I love that we get these major events in sprint car racing. I think we need to start calling them majors. That's what they are. It's like golf, and get more eyes on the sport and add more majors. Fucking add an ARCA race at Iowa, call it the Daytona 500, but have one of the Australian sprint car drivers pronounce it Daytona, and we'll call it that. And that's how we're going to do the crown jewel thing. And I'll go to work on the drawing board, and we'll get a better idea. But appreciate y'all for listening, and I hope you guys enjoy what we do, and I hope you guys continue to support us. Also, go to our pin tweet, buy a shirt. Appreciate it. We got late model shirts and sprint car or race cars have fenders. Got both of those, and we're working on a couple more. So hope you guys enjoy them. Noah, did you have anything else, or were you just
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm waiting on my lap cars have no right shirt still.
I will try to run that by. It might be towing the line. It might be towing the line for us. I'll let you know.
Oh, I definitely am.
Yeah, there's 3 I have in my mind. Obviously, we covered 4 races this week at Eldora, and 2 of them were bigger, and the victory lane quotes were iconic. So that's the ideas of what might be on those shirts. Don't take them. Please, don't take them. If you do, I won't hate you if you do, but we're working on it. We're gonna do some cool stuff. So appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your week. We'll be back sometime this week, and Damon and I will talk more about dirt. So if you didn't think we had enough Kings Royal stuff, I'll put out a tweet too. But tweet me your questions if you had anything that I didn't talk about. I know I didn't touch on the Macri deal. I don't know a ton about it. But yeah, if you ever feel underwhelmed that your shit's not getting covered, I didn't mention that Jet Lawrence won another 2 fucking motocross races this week. Just tweet us. Let me know. Give me feedback so I can do my job better, because I harp on myself all the time. So I'll finally end the show. Thanks to the Karl Auto Group, and thanks to everyone listening. And we're ending the fucking podcast now.